All right, cool. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our latest episode. I'm here with the CEO of Reach. This is Chris, and he's going to tell me all these awesome things about what Reach is doing with blockchain and what they want to do with Cardano. So, with that, Chris, you want to give an introduction of yourself?
I think you did a great job. My name is Chris, Chris Winter, and I'm the CEO of Reach. And Reach, just a high level, is a blockchain development platform.
Cool. So yeah, so you were telling me a little bit about like what the company does, and I was researching it a little bit. It sounds really awesome.
Thank you.
So in your opinion, um, there's a lot of things that you're talking about with blockchain and what it's going to take for it to go like mainstream with like adoption and how we get more users. So what would you think that it's going to take for blockchain to go mainstream?
It's a great question. The If you look at a bunch of the other big technology advances, if you like the personal computer or the smartphone or cloud computing, the thing that really took it from a niche technical solution to mainstream was a killer app, something actually that really caught the hearts and minds of the mainstream users, and got them really excited. But the question is like what created that killer app?
Yeah.
How do you know what that next killer app is? I get people ask me this all the time. What's the next killer app for blockchain?
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is you can't really predict it. If you could actually predict what the next killer app would be, the VCs would be a lot richer. They wouldn't invest in 10 applications or 10 companies hoping one succeed.
Yeah.
So the truth is that killer applications it's a numbers game. It's lots and lots of people throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing which one sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that really is going to require for blockchain to be mainstream is developer accessibility, making it so that developers can easily build blockchains. The thing that I always say is that blockchain will be successful when blockchain development is easy enough. People are building fart apps because
Yeah.
when that's happening, people are building stuff that maybe you or I just think is a crazy idea, but the
Mm-hmm.
truth is that the rest of the world doesn't think it, and it takes off and becomes super successful.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, getting those like, useless apps and super useful apps together is what I view as like full adoption, right? Like full
Right.
integration. Um so how hard is it to build an app on blockchain?
It's actually super hard, and it's the thing is it's actually super hard for multiple different reasons. Number one, currently it requires for a developer to think at a much lower level of abstraction. They kind of have to worry about like mashing the bits together.
Mm-hmm.
And the traditional development world doesn't really think about that. They think of much higher at like a business logic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, when you're building a blockchain application, you're not really building one application. What you're doing is you're building multiple applications that all have to speak to each other and have to stay in sync.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't become out of sync because then things start breaking down. So it's a lot harder to grok all of the moving pieces.
Okay.
And then finally, actually there's two more things. And the other thing is that if it's harder to make an application, and if you make a mistake, it's much more catastrophic because of the immutability and the decentralized nature of blockchain means that
Mm-hmm.
if you make a mistake, it's probably in game. The the A bad actor might steal all of your users' money, and there's really no way of getting that back. And
Mm-hmm.
then finally, actually, if you're a developer, you make it all through all of that. You figure out how to build blockchain applications. You get it audited. You spend tons of money to actually make sure it's a perfect app. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're locked into actually a certain platform because most of the blockchains out there have proprietary ways of building things. And if you want to switch to another blockchain, um, then you need to actually rewrite your application from scratch, which is no fun.
Mm. Yeah. So what are some things that can make that better?
Well, that's where kind of Reach comes in.
Mm.
What we've done is we've actually solved all of those issues. Number one, we are providing a high level business logic language that is a subset of JavaScript. So it's much easier for developers to write the applications and quickly and get them out to market quickly as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have, through the compilation process, we automatically formally verify the output. What that means is, in the kind of what I kind of analogy is, if you remember back in geometry, where you're given a formula,
Mm-hmm.
and then they said, okay, prove that this formula is correct. And
Mm-hmm.
then you wrote out by hand a bunch of different steps to actually say, yes, this is why I know this formula is correct.
Yeah.
So formal verification is similar to that, but it's the art of taking your application, turn it into a math problem, and then writing out a proof to prove that that application is correct in all potentialities.
Okay.
Now, Reach allows you to insert one line assertions and not write out proofs in the actual language itself, and it generates those proofs every time you compile. So you get a mathematical proof saying like this application will do exactly what you expect it to do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the other thing that we did is we abstracted away the blockchain so that the developer can write the application once and then launch it on any chain that they would like. So that if they're nervous about picking a certain chain, they can then just write it in Reach and then launch it on any chain. And if things change, they can launch it on a new chain. And then the other thing that I mentioned about all of the moving pieces. So Reach actually outputs the entire blockchain side of the application.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that when you hit compile, you get not just the smart contract, but you get the client code as well that communicates with that smart contract. So you don't need to worry about keeping them all in sync because the compiler does that for you.
Wow. I mean, that's that's pretty awesome. Like you guys have done that like all on your own. Because I just listened to the December 3rd update and it seems really similar to kind of like what they're talking about. So can you
Yeah,
compile on Cardano as well?
that's a great question. So and there's two parts there. So the reason why we're able to do this all on our own is really because of my co-founder, Jay McCarthy, has been, who's the CTO of our company, has been researching this tech for the last 15 years. He's a computer
Mm-hmm.
science researcher, got his PhD from Brown, and has been producing many great papers
Mm-hmm.
that many of them actually go in the technology of this happening. So I wish I could say like, yeah, we came up with this ideas, just a little over a year ago, and then here it is. But he's been working very hard for over 15 years of his life to
Wow.
make something like Reach happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a big plus. But the other really exciting thing that just happened is that for a long time we've been actually working with the Cardano Foundation to create a Plutus integration to connect Reach to actual Plutus.
Mm-hmm.
So the announcement last week about the EVM sidechain
Mm-hmm.
is a great news for us because that means we don't need to launch to Plutus anymore. We can actually use our EVM integration, and everybody that's ever written any application in Reach can now, because of that EVM sidechain, can launch their application on Cardano. And that means that anybody that wants to build on Cardano today, they can actually just write their application in Reach, and then once that sidechain is ready, they can launch it on Cardano. So that was really big news.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. Like, and it's like huge. Like we've been just I just been doing like stake pool things and they've been developing on the side and that was a huge like news bomb, like
Yeah, it
I
was
think
really exciting.
I think it's going to bring in a lot of users. Hopefully
I
a
mean,
lot of the builders.
yeah, I think eventually we're going to want to compile directly to Plutus
Hmm.
because, like Charles explained, it's the island.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so like but what this does is it means that we can launch on day one, which is really super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys seem like you're pretty much already almost there because you've been building it, and then this is just
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, this makes it just a little easier for you.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And so yeah, so I mean, not really. I wouldn't say almost there. People have been, as of this morning. I actually haven't checked lately, but
Hmm.
there's been 113 developers that have actually went through our tutorial and built an application with Reach. So what that means is, as soon as that's available, every one of those developers are Cardano developers.
I mean, that's awesome. So yeah, scratch that. Not almost. You guys are there, just waiting for that
Yeah,
green light. So
exactly.
yeah. Then, as someone who believes in this like multi-chain world, what is your personal opinion about Cardano?
I so I it depends on what hat I'm wearing. If I'm wearing, CEO hat of Reach,
Mm-hmm.
it's very much multi-chain, um, lots of chains mean lots of features and allows developers to actually pick which chain fits them the best. Maybe they
Mhm.
need the security of Cardano, maybe they need the speed of Algorand, maybe they need the users or like the community like Ethereum. They should be able to pick which chain that they actually want to be on.
Mhm.
And that's why I believe in a multi-chain role.
Mhm.
Now, Chris, the individual, I have been a huge believer in Cardano for a long time.
Mhm.
I've been along for the ride. I, I I love the way that Cardano IOHK releases product. They get it get the papers peer reviewed. They take their time and they go into a problem without having an idea on how to solve it first. And then what they do is they research it and figure out which is the best way and then build that.
Mhm.
And by doing that, you remove the bias. You really have um, the best way of moving forward. And this is like, it's just a great way to build product. It takes longer, but at the same time, we're still super early.
Mhm.
There's really no reason to rush. It's much more important to do it right than do it fast at this point of the game.
Yeah. No, I've seen like several things I've read and images and graphics and stuff, and it really is kind of like the symbol of like the iceberg and everything like that, where it's like there's more underneath than what you see on top. And
Right.
I think that they're building a really solid like foundation, and then now you're just seeing
Yeah.
the fruits of all of that like coming out right now and into next year. So I
Yeah.
think it's awesome.
I mean,
Um,
this is definitely how we choose which chains we integrate with next. Well, the how
mhm,
strong the teams are. This is why we chose Algorand originally because they had the teal language first in running. So which is why we actually made that their first integration after Ethereum, and just been waiting for Pluto to come out just because of how strong the team is. I mean,
mhm.
they literally the best people in the world, the PL people in the world, are part of Cardano, and it's just really exciting what they're about to release.
Yeah. So you guys are just waiting for that green light. So it is ready. Do you have any other examples of use cases?
Yeah, so what I do is I try to put out a video every week because one of like the other thing that I discovered is that it's one thing making it easy to build blockchain applications, which we did and we were very successful doing. The other thing that's difficult is giving a traditional developer, a full stack developer, a reason to use blockchain or what
Mhm,
use cases can it actually use.
mhm,
So what I do is that once a week I try to come up with a potential use case of what you can use blockchain for. If it's a crypto gift card or
yeah.
a a multi-sig application. I think last 2 weeks ago, what I did is a parent-child allowance application that was kind of get some thoughts going. But the other really cool thing is this is not something I'm like get allowed to actually talk about specifically, but one of the largest dexes in the space is contracted with us to actually be rewritten in Reach.
Mm,
So that's I can't really say who it is, but that should come out sooner rather than later. And
yeah.
the good news about that is by them writing in Reach, that means that that we'll be able to launch them on any chain that Reach is connected to. So
Mhm.
it's another good thing for Cardano.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is so awesome. Like I've learned so much about like what the company does, and like you are amazing in all of your ideas and being
I
ahead of
I
the
think you're
game.
amazing, by the way. I've
Thank
been
you.
watching a lot of your videos, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. That's so sweet. But yeah, like your team, your company is gonna do great because you're already like ahead of the game and you're ready to go now. Whereas they just made that announcement and people are
Yeah.
starting to form ideas now, but you're ready. So that's super sweet. So
Yeah, so I recommend anybody that wants to start building applications, just go to our docs. You can just go to it's docs, so DOCS .reach.sh, and developers can start picking up right away. And um, the my co-founder is also not only is he a computer science researcher, but
Mhm,
he is a professor, so he has a lot of experience writing curriculum. So we
mhm.
have a lot of different ways to teach developers how to pick up and start building blockchain applications, and it's really neat.
That's very cool. And I will include that link in the description so that
Thank
people
you.
can
I really
just
appreciate it.
go straight there. But yeah, I think that's all the questions that I have for you. Is there
Wonderful.
anything else that you need to share that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. It's there's so just be very clear that we just skimmed the surface of a lot of stuff I talked about.
Yes.
So not only if anybody has any questions, come join our Discord community. You can just go to reach.sh and you can the Discord links at the top of the page.
Also will
Uh,
include that.
Wonderful. Or in this description,
Yeah.
please. Yeah. So that's about it. Like, if I piqued your curiosity, please join the community and ask me the hard questions because I'd love to um, get people and get more people actually in the blockchain space.
Yeah. And that's how we're going to grow. Got to get more users
Exactly.
and usability. Sounds amazing. So
Thank
I
you.
really thank you for joining me. I know that the time difference is always crazy on my show because I'm in Korea and America and Europe and whatever. So
Yeah.
um but yeah,
It's a global community.
yes, yes. And so I make it work, you know. So,
Great job.
but yeah, so thank you for coming on and
Thank
sharing this
you.
with us. And like, I
I
hope
appreciate it.
that we get more users on board soon.
Me too.
All right,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.